Hi. Hi, my name is Peter James. I'm doing this podcast, Cult of Electric, and I have a website, cultofelectric.com, and Facebook and Twitter and everything. So, anyway, the reason I'm here is just to talk briefly about a test drive that I did for Model 3 last week, exactly a week ago, and also briefly to introduce myself. My name is Peter James. I'm a journalist and a lawyer, and I'm starting this podcast to talk about electric cars. It's called cultofelectric.com, and the idea is that people love Tesla, and I love Tesla. The problem is sometimes it does become a little bit cultish, and as if there are no other electric cars. Now, there are a lot of other electric cars, and they're really good. So I want to talk about them. I admit that Tesla is probably the best, and it's 100%. It's the reference point against which you measure all other electric cars. But I want to take a look at them. I want to take a fair and balanced look at all of them. So that's the idea, and so there will be videos, there will be test drives, there will be other content like written content. Like, for example, I wrote a review of a book about Elon Musk that's on my website, so please take a look at that. That's actually the only content that I did that's on the podcast right now. There's a lot of promotional content on the website produced by the manufacturers. Like, there's all the Tesla promotional videos, all the Renault, well, not all of them because there's so many, a lot of the Renault videos, a lot of the Polestar videos. Most of the car manufacturers that you've heard of, they probably have promotional videos on my website right now, cultofelectric.com. Okay, a little bit about me. I'm a lawyer. I'm a journalist. I ran a website for like 10 years, a small newspaper, but it was perfect for this because it was experience running a small website, a WordPress website. So that's what this is. Okay, other than that, I wanted to just jump right into the review of the Tesla. Okay, now I drove a Tesla for the first time since I'm doing this podcast. I wanted to actually drive some of these cars, and last week I went with a videographer friend of mine from Jiu-Jitsu, and he videotaped everything, and he had a drone even that flew over me while I drove, and he took some impressions from me, and we'll probably post that video pretty soon once he gets done with it and sends it back to me. Now, that was my first video, and he kind of it was his idea to do the test drive, so he's running the video for that. This is my brief review and introduction to myself, but hopefully there will be another video coming up, provided he sends the video, which I'm sure he will. Anyway, okay, so let's just jump into the Model 3. All right, so I test drove it last week, and I'll tell you a little bit about the process by which I borrowed it. I emailed them not knowing if it was even possible to test drive a Tesla at this time during this crisis. And basically they emailed me back, or they called me back rather, and they set up an appointment for me, and they asked me which car I wanted, and I had a choice of any of the 4 cars. The most likely car that I am to actually buy is a Model 3. Now, I'm on the waiting list for a Cybertruck. I paid the $100 to get in that list, and it's to my benefit that it's a ways away because I don't actually have any money yet. So anyway, it's easier for me to afford a Model 3 than it is for me to afford a Cybertruck. But I put myself in the list, and then maybe things will get better. Maybe my ship will come in the meantime. Anyway, so that's the process. And then after that, I got a call. I got an invitation, or excuse me, an appointment. I set an appointment. I came in for the appointment, and when I got there, there were a lot of other people, like young people who were buying cars, and people with their, babies in carriages, and it was kind of a big scene, and everybody's wearing masks, and the whole idea is for this to be touchless. I think the intention is for it to be touchless, but in reality, it's not 100% touchless. You end up talking to the people, running the Tesla thing. So, it's not it's pretty close to touchless anyway. You're supposed to wear your mask while you're driving the car. Anyway, that's it. And then I got in the car, and the guy showed me, how you control everything, how you put it in drive, how you put it in reverse, how you put it in park, and how to move the mirrors and how to move the seat so I could get my fat butt inside. And anyway, then my friend came with his video equipment. We drove it. And okay, now there's a couple things I want to give as impressions. These are my honest impressions of this car, okay? And I might get flamed for this, but you guys got to hear it though. All right, the first thing is I expected it to handle like a BMW. Like, I've driven a BMW that was almost brand new, and it wasn't mine, but it was my friend's, and he was moving and I had to help him move, and for some reason he couldn't drive the car, so I ended up driving his car, and it was an unbelievable experience. Like, now it's 30 years later, and I remember 25 years later, and I remember it like it was, a couple days ago. It was an amazing experience driving that car. The way it handled was, I don't know what it was, but just something about when you turn that steering wheel, it's an amazing feeling to drive a BMW. Now, I've driven older BMWs, and the feeling was 100% not the same, and I've driven another new BMW, and honestly, that happened more recently, and it was not the same. So, anyway, this is what I expected from the Tesla. I expected handling that was unbelievable. Now, that's not how the handling was. It was not unbelievable. It was normal. It was like very similar to my Honda Civic. I have a 2007 Honda Civic, and honestly, the handling is probably slightly worse than that. It's okay. You can get around. It's okay. Okay, the thing that's different is when you hit the accelerator. When you hit the accelerator in the Tesla, you are driving a rocket ship. It flies. When you're in the parking lot or in a driveway or just moving around a little bit, you're going to tap that thing and you're going to be shocked at what happens. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's really peppy. It'll put you back in your seat. It'll push you into your seat while you're in the driveway or a parking lot. And, if you watch the other reaction videos, you can see that people are like just poking around in the parking lot, and all of a sudden, what happened? This thing is crazy. And, okay, and then that held true when I got on the freeway. I was up to very fast speed. I won't say exactly how fast, but very, very fast in a very short time, and with no effort. I just hit the gas and I was gone. I guess you can't call it gas, I don't know. Anyway, whatever you call it, you hit that pedal and that thing goes. The fun button, you hit the fun button. And anyway, it's really fast. So that was my experience. We drove, we got on the highway, went like 1 or 2 exits, then we got off at found a parking lot where we could drive around with the drone and talk about the car and stuff and poke around and look at it. There's nothing to look at. Okay, now another thing that I want to point out, and this is also going to be very unpopular, I think. I don't think people are going to like to hear this, but the aesthetic, like the Steve Jobs emptiness aesthetic, that is not to benefit you. That is to benefit Tesla and Elon Musk. The best part is no part, and you don't have to fix it, you don't have to buy it, you don't have to install it. That's 100% correct, but that benefits him. It doesn't benefit you. Now, I mean, the irony is that he goes through that thought process and he ends up with this aesthetic that's very similar to what Steve Jobs has, right? That's the irony. But that's not the reason for it. And he has good taste. I mean, Elon Musk has good taste. That car is beautiful to look at, especially from the outside. Once you get in it, it's like, it's nice, but it's not like being in a Mercedes or a BMW. It's not. Now, the aesthetic, okay, it is what it is. I said my opinion about it, and that's to benefit him. Now, the problem is that when you're in the car and you want a little button to control the stereo or a little button to control the airflow, the climate in the car, you don't have it. I mean, you have to go through that screen. And the screen is cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as a little button that you don't even have to think about and you can change without looking at it. I mean, that's definitely better for you. So it's not a luxury car in that way. Now, the thing is, it's still worth it. I mean, I wanted a Tesla before I drove this thing, and I still want a Tesla, although I was surprised that I didn't love the handling. There were some things about the handling that I liked, like for example, the turning radius is really tight, really, really tight. And the speed is just unforgettable. And the thing is, I think once you get used to being able to drive a car like that, where you hit the gas and it's so fast, I don't know that you can go back to a regular gas car. It's just not the same. Once you are, it's your daily driver. I mean, because a gas car is going to feel like you have a horse and buggy after you drive that thing. I mean, it's so fast. I was going 102. Well, yeah, I was going 102. Okay, miles an hour in no time. I mean, less than 10 seconds, like just a few seconds, I was going 102. And literally, I think if you put wings on that car, you'd have to stop yourself from flying. Like you'd have to hit the brake to stop from flying. Another weird thing about it is when you hit the gas, I guess we had the regen braking on. So, it automatically, you don't need to hit the brake because even in the parking lot, you hit the gas and it goes and then you let go and it pulls back. So it's kind of cool to drive. It's a little different, but it's more like to me, it's a different kind of performance driving. That's what it is. It was very interesting. Okay, so those are the two things, the aesthetic. The aesthetic is okay. It ends up, it's just kind of funny that he ends up at that same place where Steve Jobs was. But Steve Jobs, I think that's what he was aiming for, that like kind of Zen thing. I don't think Elon Musk is like a Zen Buddhist. He just ended up there because he knows what looks nice, but he also wanted to remove parts, and then we ended up in the same place. So that's my impression. It's a wonderful car. I still want to buy it. I still might switch my Cybertruck to a Model 3, but not yet. But I have nothing against the car. I am surprised that I didn't like the handling as much as I thought I would. I was also, honestly, the acceleration is violent, okay? It's really fast. Like, I don't see how it can be safe. But it is a safe car. I mean, it has a very good crash rating, and the autopilot is going to help you. It might not save you from every single thing you do to yourself, but it's going to help you. So that's my impression. It's a lovely car, and it is the reference point against which you have to measure every other electric car. So that's why I did it first. And so this is my podcast. I'm going to post this, probably this video I'm going to post on YouTube, and then after that my intention is to do a podcast. And this is my first one, so welcome, and please like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. Okay, bye.